4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to Does My Bank Still Love Me? I'm Norm Newkirk. We're talking today with Leeron Liftik, and we're talking about a gentleman who has departed us, Kevin Kim, who figured very prominently in your business. Who is Kevin Kim?
Yeah, it's a great question. So Kevin is Kevin's inspiration, Kevin's hope, he's passion, he's love a lot. That's who he was in his life, and he is still. You know, I'm a firm believer that there's nothing real ever dies. You know,
Right.
And so, you know, that's who that's what he was in the world. You know, and it's a real loss for the world that, at least in my limited perspective, about you know, those things being gone.
Well, as I mentioned, when I did interview him a couple of weeks ago, I realized how compassionate he was, how intelligent he was, and how actually interested he was in people.
Yeah.
Which I think is an extremely important component of the business of real estate and helping distressed homeowners.
Yeah.
But how specifically did he help change Sound Method Modifications, your company, and how is that going to continue on, the change in your company?
Yeah, well, he contributed tremendously towards, because he already had the online presence, so that people already knew to go to him when they didn't know to go to us yet.
What is the online presence? Let's explain that, because
Yes.
he had two things, didn't he? He had a blog,
Yeah.
and then he had an online business, actually.
Yeah, so and they were one and the same. He has something called the Seattle Short Sale Blog Ring, which is basically his own blog, his own website that's generated interest from homeowners who are in distress and need assistance. So that's what he did himself, and then saw how well that was performing and entered agreements with us and parlayed roles for us to teach other real estate agents who want to get into this business, want to get into the short sale side, but don't have the tools, resources, training, education. There's no real avenues that are real accessible for people to offer high quality, high integrity information to homeowners. That's why we do what we do, of course. And he was one of the people up to the same thing we were. So he not only had his Seattle Short Sale Blog Ring, which is what I was referring to, people already knew to go there, already knew to inquire, and he would then, when those people, well, I'll talk about that in a second, and then the second piece was he was a trainer for our company who originated and introduced us to other real estate partners who were interested in helping other homeowners and provided them with a system and training to offer high integrity help. And part of that was bringing them through Sound Method Modifications, because the way the laws are written provides for the highest integrity process is a licensed loan officer or mortgage broker offering a final consultation to the homeowner. And Kevin was a huge support of that, completely without regard for his business and the way his income is generated, which is why we were instantly drawn to him, because we don't do it for the money. And so when you see somebody who's going, hey, before you even come and talk to me, go talk to these guys and see if you can do a modification or see what's best for you first. And that, you're beating down my door saying, take my listing, short sale my property. And I'm saying, I don't know if that's right for you yet. And also, that's also saying, I want to give you this money, I want to give you this money. Hold on, the money's not as valuable as your best interest. So that's a really profound thing to actually live in this market. To talk about is great. A lot of people talk about it, right? But he's somebody who really lived that.
You talked about a letter he received from Rob McKenna, who is the Attorney General of the state of Washington. And I actually have a copy of the letter. Before my interview with Kevin, I read it, and I was impressed by McKenna's. And McKenna's not one to hand out compliments that quickly. No offense, Mr. McKenna. But I do know that he is quite severe as to what he hands out as far as complimentary phrases. And he says, even though I can't endorse you or your company, I have to say that you are of great integrity.
Yes.
Am I correct in that?
That's right.
All right.
You got it.
Very good. Now, there's something that you had in common other than the real estate market with Kevin Kim.
Yeah.
And that was you're both musicians.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I just learned about this.
Yeah, so Kevin, when you, like one of the communication mediums, so we as humans relate to communication through talking, and like we're doing now. And that is, the most prolific and kind of default. But for somebody like the way I experienced Kevin to be, the talking was indicative of a greater action, a greater purpose that didn't happen in the talking. It happened in the action and the outcome, and part of that whole organic process that involved talking. And another, which is called doing short sale business, right? That's what we call it. And another area of expression for him is in his music, which, he was a producer, a singer, a songwriter, and produced some incredible, just like everything he did in life. It's just, some real inspirational, incredible, beautiful music, And in fact, we learned on whatever Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it was, 19 hours prior to learning that he passed, he had uploaded a new track was uploaded to his website called Heaven. So it was one of those, and it's just beautiful. And it's one of those pieces where I'm can really feel the piece about it's sad that Kevin's body isn't here, but like look at the day after he passed. Since he's passed, we've probably had 6 or 7 people inquire, and the nature of our business says, Kevin Kim has sent you a new prospect who needs help. Kevin Kim has just, a new affiliate is interested in getting started with Kevin Kim's Seattle Short Sale blog, isn't expecting a call from you. So for me in my life, he's very much alive, and very much everything he was to me is still here. And, I was really more saddened by the loss it was for the world, that he wouldn't himself on here have the chance to see where all of that energy and all of that inspiration and hope and all of that, how it all transpired while he's here. That was very sad for me. And then, I experienced a tremendous amount of sadness for his family, who we also are very, close with and have played a very helpful role in our business and things of that nature.
Now, before we sign off, you have a project in mind to honor Kevin Kim. Mm-hmm. Would you mind telling us about that? Yeah,
well, as you know, this is all through the lens of our nonprofit efforts, which are to educate homeowners and create, free and extremely low-cost access to very high-quality, high-integrity resources that create good results. And we have a variety of projects in the works, and we have many, many things that we're about to release. And what we're seeing over the years and being involved is how many different categories there are. So for instance, we have our books, we have this television program, we're going to be launching several internet assistance websites with tremendous amount of resources. We have our podcast that we do, and they're all designed for assisting distressed homeowners. And what we've decided about 15 minutes ago of this broadcast being filmed, we talked with Kevin Kim's dad, David, and said, what we'd like to do is we would like to have all of these efforts, all of the revenues that we were changing back and forth with Kevin personally, and all of that which he brought to the table, have that all come under a renamed nonprofit organization called the Kevin Kim Foundation that's dedicated to creating the same purpose, but we can have our television program, our books, our podcast, our online resources, our in-person consultation, our seminar series, all those things that we're up to, all through the guise of the Kevin Kim Foundation, so that, what it was that he's up to becomes even more profound and more widely spread than ever it was when he was here with us. And I think that would be, for me, very personally fulfilling, and something I would always be inspired over to always do, and would have the impact of having what I understood his dreams to be fulfilled, and have more people know about Kevin Kim and who he was and who he is in the world. That just continues to live on and become more and more buoyant and big and bright. And that would be a treasure, I think, to share with the world, and something I would love to dedicate my life to doing. So that's what I'm going to do.
That's an incredible honor that you would give to this man. Obviously, he is worth that honor.
Oh, yeah.
And in your heart, I think Kevin Kim is still alive.
Yeah.
And he will remain alive, and his presence will grow,
Yeah.
and you will make that happen.
Yeah.
We've been talking today with Leeron Liftik of Sound Method Modifications. We have been discussing a dearly departed friend of ours, Kevin Kim, and we will remember him. We will remember him for his brightness, for his positive energy, and for his compassion and for his intelligence. You've been watching Does My Bank Still Love Me? I'm Norm Newkirk.